Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful tools in your storytelling arsenal: dialogue. That's right, we're talking about those magical exchanges between your characters that can make or break your story's impact on the page. Because here's the thing, dialogue is so much more than just characters talking. It's a window into their hearts, a key that unlocks their deepest secrets and desires. It's a way to reveal who they are, what they want, and why we should care about their journey. But crafting effective dialogue is an art form, my friends. It's not just about putting words in your characters' mouths. It's about making those words work over time. In this video, we're going to break down the 4 main functions of dialogue and give you a toolkit of techniques for making your conversations sparkle. So buckle up, grab your favorite writing snack, and let's get started. First things first, dialogue is a powerhouse tool for revealing character. Think about it. The way we speak says so much about who we are, where we come from, and what we believe in. And the same is true for your fictional creations. Take Holden Caulfield, the unforgettable protagonist of The Catcher in the Rye. From the moment he starts narrating, his voice is unmistakable, cynical, jaded, dripping with teenage angst. When he says things like, "I'm standing on the edge of some crazy cliff. What I have to do, I have to catch everybody if they start to go over the cliff." We don't just understand his world view, we feel it in our bones. So, how can you use dialogue to create that same sense of depth and authenticity? One key is to pay attention to the nitty-gritty details of how your characters speak. What kinds of words do they use? Are their sentences short and choppy or long and rambling? Do they use slang, jargon, or a more formal register? For example, if you're writing a scientist character, you might have them use technical language and precise measurements in their dialogue. If you're writing a teenager, you might sprinkle in some current slang and pop culture references. The goal is to create a distinct voice for each character that feels true to who they are. But dialogue isn't just about revealing character. It's also a crucial tool for moving your plot forward. Because let's face it, there's nothing more yawn-inducing than pages of exposition or description. Dialogue is a way to sneak in that important information without putting your reader to sleep. Think about a classic mystery novel. The detective might be interviewing suspects, and in the course of those conversations, they'll drop little clues or revelations that will pay off later in the story. The key is to make those moments feel organic to the conversation, rather than like a big flashing sign that says, "Hey, this is important." One way to do that is to think about the subtext of your dialogue. What are your characters really saying beneath the surface? Are they hiding something or hinting at a deeper truth? Those layers of meaning can create tension and anticipation that keeps readers turning the pages. Another way to use dialogue to advance your plot is to have your characters actively pursuing their goals in conversation. Maybe they're trying to convince someone to help them, or confronting an obstacle in their path. By letting your characters drive the story forward through their words and actions, you create a sense of momentum and stakes. But dialogue isn't just about plot and character in isolation. It's also a powerful tool for revealing the relationships between your characters. The way 2 people talk to each other says so much about their history, their power dynamic, their emotional connection. For example, think about a love story. The way the 2 leads banter and flirt, the way they challenge and support each other, all of that can show the progression of their relationship over time. And the same is true for any kind of relationship in your story, whether it's between friends, family members, or enemies. To make your dialogue work on this level, pay attention to the subtext and emotional undertones of your characters' conversations. Do they interrupt each other or leave long silences? Do they use nicknames or inside jokes? Do their words convey intimacy or tension or resentment? One technique I love is to have characters talk around a subject, rather than addressing it directly. For example, if two characters are fighting about money, they might not actually say the word money. Instead, they might snipe at each other about who forgot to pay the electric bill or who spent too much on a new pair of shoes. That indirect approach can create a sense of layered meaning and subtext. And finally, perhaps the most important function of dialogue is to create a sense of authenticity and realism in your story. Because let's be real, pun intended, nothing yanks a reader out of a story faster than clunky, unnatural-sounding dialogue. The key here is to study the way people actually talk in real life. Eavesdrop on conversations at the coffee shop or the park. Notice the way people interrupt each other, trail off in the middle of a sentence, or leave things unsaid. Pay attention to the rhythms and cadences of different accents and dialects. Then, when you're writing your own dialogue, try to incorporate those natural speech patterns. Use contractions, sentence fragments, and interruptions. Have your characters talk over each other or finish each other's sentences. And don't be afraid to let them speak in imperfect or grammatically incorrect ways. That's how real people talk. One caveat here, you don't want to go overboard with the realism. Dialogue in fiction is still a stylized version of real speech. The goal is to capture the essence and rhythm of natural conversation, not to transcribe it verbatim. So use those realistic techniques judiciously and always keep your reader's experience in mind. So there you have it, my friends. The 4 main functions of dialogue and a whole toolbox of techniques for making your conversations work overtime in your fiction. But the real magic happens when you put all of these functions together. Because when you have dialogue that reveals character, advances plot, establishes relationships, and creates a sense of authenticity, all at the same time, that's when you know you've struck storytelling gold. So my challenge to you is this. Take a scene from your current work in progress and put these techniques into action. Look for opportunities to reveal character through word choice and speech patterns. Find moments where your dialogue can hint at deeper plot developments or character motivations. Pay attention to the subtext and emotional layers between your characters. And always, always read your dialogue out loud to make sure it sounds natural and authentic.